Welcome to Arrival Coaching's Thrive Movement 2018 interview series. I'm Beth Myers, your host and the owner of Arrival Coaching. I am a law of attraction empowerment coach, mentor, and speaker. And this year's Thrive Movement Mother-Daughter series is highlighting thriving in real relationships. And I term real as real empowerment allows love. Thank you for watching as I introduce you to women who, and some are mothers, some are not. Each are welcome to share and reflect on their role or roles as a mother and or a daughter, and how that has influenced them on their journey to thrive and not just survive. We'll also explore how they embrace real relationships to embrace their emotions and empower their connections with others, especially other women. Today, I'd like to introduce you to my friend and colleague, Charlotte Friborg. Charlotte is a certified coach. She's an NLP Master Practitioner as well. She worked as a coach, a mentor, and a teacher in Denmark before she moved to the US in 2016 with her husband and 3 children. For 8 years, she stayed at home and was fully engaged in her role as a mother, as well as an active parent in her children's schools. After some years, a desire to start a professional career doing what she loves here in America was born. She started her own business, Charlotte Friborg International, LLC, where she coaches people near and far. Her expertise is to support especially women in creating a life with 360-degree imperfect life mastery in a world with constant change and challenge. So welcome, Charlotte.
Thank you, Beth. Thank you so much for that nice introduction.
You're so very welcome. And I just love the name of your business and your program with the 360-degree mastery, life mastery, right? And then tell us about the imperfect part of it. I love that.
Right. Yes, I do too. And I want to say that something that name has been evolving as I have been really getting deeper and deeper into this work and got the puzzle and details into the program to really help people, support them in creating this. For many years, for more than 20 years, I myself have been focusing on creating a life where I feel like the famous life wheel, where we split up the wheel in our different life areas to feel fulfilled in every area, no matter what.
Right.
And while I still strive for something more or something better. And years ago, I thought, okay, when I get there and when things are perfect, then I'll be happy, or I can do this.
Right.
And, gradually maturing and learning, realizing it will never be perfect, but we can still feel fulfilled, peaceful, and live with mindfulness while we are creating our future. Yeah, so the imperfect came in that way. We can have that 360-degree life mastery and being imperfect, and come to peace with that just makes such a profound difference within us.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing about that. I was struck by that when I was reading your bio, and it was like, wow, I have to have you tell more about that before we get started.
I know. It's like, I think it would be more like, let's get it perfect, but it's not about, let's come to peace with being imperfect.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about that in the roles that we play as women, and in particular, as a daughter of the universe. You and I are daughters of the universe, as are other women in this world. And some of us are mothers and some of us are not. And you are a mother from what you shared in your bio. So let's start with talking about you. And what would be 10 words that you would use to describe yourself?
Right. I love that question. And it's so funny because it's not long ago I was advised by a mentor to ask other people also about some words, what they think about me. And the words that came up there and I really could resonate with was that I'm positive. You know, I truly believe that any situation we can solve it. It's like the law of polarity. You know, if there's a problem, there's a solution. So I live from that perspective. I'm very positive. I'm pretty calm. My husband often jokes about that. You know, if a bomb was falling behind us in our pool or on a patio, I would still be calm. I mean, I found that. I mean, that's been a life journey. You know, I feel calm. I'm kind. I'm caring. I care about other people. I really care about making a difference and help people and help them to feel better about themselves and their life. I'm grateful. I can say that I'm grateful for my life, even with all the imperfections that's in my life. I'm truly grateful. I have not always been able to feel like that. But it's something I learned, and I believe we all can learn by practicing gratitude. I'm a great listener. I want to say that, and I'm mindful, visionary, inspirational, and I'm determined. I want to say I'm perseverant. I'm not giving up. I'm not the fastest mover. I actually just earlier today was on a mastermind call with my mastermind group, and we talked about it. And I do have a pattern of procrastination, but I came to peace with that. But I'm not giving up. You know, I just say, okay, it is what it is. Okay, let's move on. There's a solution. Yeah, so I think that was 10, right?
That was 10, yes. Oh, wonderful, Charlotte. Thank you. And you know, words are powerful, aren't they? The two most powerful words in our universe are I am. And when we can say, I am kind, I am perseverant, I am grateful, it just helps ground us, doesn't it?
Yeah.
To that knowing and that believing in the power that we have described by those individual words.
Yeah, and deliberately choosing also to focus on those things that help us to grow. Because of course I could also talk about, I could say, I'm a procrastinator. I am, you know, all the things that we want to change in ourselves. We all have those limiting thoughts and beliefs about, but we choose what we want to focus on.
Right.
Yeah, it does make a difference how we say it.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for sharing a little bit more about you. And what would be the 5 words that your mom might have used to describe you as a daughter?
Yep. See, that's interesting. My mom has never been the kind of woman who used a lot of adjectives, but I think if we were sitting down having that conversation, I think she would say, okay, Charlotte is a positive person. She's caring. She's a good listener. Maybe she would use stubborn instead of perseverant. I'm not sure, but like, okay, she's not giving up. And maybe mindful, like I'm present. When I'm with people, I've learned to really take the time and embrace being with people when I'm with them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. And I love what you just shared about if you looked at it from your mom's perspective or words that she might use, there was a great overlap of most of the words that you used. But I love how you reframed that she might have called you stubborn But
Yeah.
you chose the word perseverant because with, just like you talked about the law of polarity and how everything has its opposite, right? We can
Right.
describe people by that more negative word, or we can choose that more empowering word to describe
Right.
people, can't we? Like you were saying, I could say I am a procrastinator. You and I are there, sister, because that's a word that I might think about describing myself as too. But
Right.
becoming at peace with that quality that may not be the way we like to look at it, and then reframe it in one of those more positive terms. Let me know that, because, I bet she might have had 5 different words for you when you were younger too, and maybe
Yeah.
5 words about you now.
Right.
Because those words can shift and they can change in how we describe ourselves
Yeah.
as well as how we describe other people too, right?
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. We
Well,
get smarter.
we do, and we learn to embrace
Yeah.
and take off some of those roles that we've
Mm.
been maybe playing, of the pain in the rear end kid, or the the
Yeah.
stubborn kid, and being able to learn how to take that quality that's being labeled in that way and
Yeah.
flipping it to, because every word has its opposite, right? um,
Yeah.
just like
And
the
it
law
is
of
a
polarity.
vibration. I mean, I think that's
Yes.
so important for us to really tune in,
Hmm.
and we can, and people listening,
Right.
if they have started to activate some thoughts about, okay, who am I? Just really check in, if does this feel good? Or if I change the word slightly, does it feel better? When we really connect with our, we can feel that the words do have a vibration. They will make us feel even better or worse, and why not choose the words that makes us feel better, because it will just help us to move along life more easily and effortlessly, because we will attract things from that same higher vibration when, yeah,
That
talking about energy, right?
definitely, and I
Yeah.
think that's really, if we can look at it in that perspective of
Mm.
everything is just energy,
Mm.
and our words, the roles that we see ourselves in, can really help shape whether we are very disempowered or whether we're very empowered in how we're
Yeah.
moving through life. So
Yeah.
that leads me to my next question I'd like to ask you, Charlotte, is, what's one of your favorite memories of being an empowered daughter?
Yeah. I think a pivotal moment in my life was when I learned to forgive, and
Mm.
also to not let my life depend on my mother's point of view on her life, or my mother's idea of what's right and wrong for her. And there was a moment when I took a very important decision that had been important for me for many years,
Mhm.
but I had been afraid of pursuing it because I was afraid of hurting my mom. And
Mm.
that was to find some answers about my biological father.
Mm. Mhm.
Um, and just a quick, quick, just to share a short bit of that story. My
Mhm.
mom decided to leave my biological father while she was still expecting me.
Right.
And later on in life, she met another man who then adopted me, and he's my father now. I call him my father.
Right.
And he took me in as a daughter.
Mhm.
But I always had as a child a desire to know about my biological father. And I thought as I grew up, maybe that desire would, dissipate, but it didn't. It just became stronger and stronger.
Right.
But my mom just, she wasn't able to talk to me about it. And there was a moment where I said, okay, she can't, she will not, she cannot, she
Right.
can't remember anything. She hasn't kept any memories. I have to do the work myself. I took that decision. I said, but it took me years to get where I could forgive her for not helping me. I felt like a victim. Why is she not helping me with this?
Right.
And with the moment when I forgave and said, you know what, she has her story and reason for being where she is, and really embrace that and send her love and care about, for whatever reason she decided not to be able to share that with me, come to peace with it, and then take it and say, you know what, I can do the work myself, and if she feels hurt about me doing it, I still love her and care about her, but it's my life, it's my journey. And I took that journey on, and I ended up, the moment when I decided, it didn't take me long to find answers and meet my biological father died when I was a child, but find his sister and get information, and that was a powerful moment, a time of my life, because I claimed my own life, if that makes sense.
Yes,
Yeah,
it does.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Where you made your own story by discovering part of your history, your biological history, and being able to step outside of a story maybe your mom wanted you to stay in, that was the one she had created for what your family was to look like, your connections and such.
yeah.
But
Yeah, and then with that also, I mean, I think the forgiveness, the
yes,
forgiveness is just huge,
yes,
huge.
it
You can
is.
learn so much through that. Just,
It's
yeah,
very freeing, isn't it, Charlotte?
it's very freeing. Yeah,
Yeah. And it's amazing how when we step into that emotion of forgiveness and that ability to create that forgiveness for ourselves, for the people that we have been maybe upset with, and seeing what is created from that, because it creates an opportunity then to be able to have other conversation, to make those connections in ways that you hadn't before for
yeah,
yourself.
yeah.
Yeah.
Release. Yeah. And when we release, we open up for new things. But if we hold on to that
Mhm.
blame, and
Right.
it's restricting us. But the
Mm-hmm.
moment we let go and say, okay, maybe other people have done things that we still do not support. It's not about accepting whatever people have done to us, and maybe we make some deliberate decisions, well, what we want in our life from living that contrast.
Right.
I definitely have. It's freeing us to move along that new path from that decision, when we free us and say, okay, I can't change that.
Right.
I can't change it, but I can accept it happened, and I can feel and release the sadness of whatever happened, and it just opens up space to receive what we want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. Beautifully expressed. Thank you, Charlotte, for sharing that story and how that connected with, because it sounds like there was even that disempowerment there as well as that empowerment. They kind of
Yeah.
went together
Yes.
for you.
For many years I felt very disempowered. I mean, this is just a little fraction of a story of
Right.
my experience,
Uh-huh.
but it's so you're so right. Yeah, thanks for pointing that out.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. And again, it's the example of the polarity. There are
Yes.
both ends, and we choose which end of the pole, if we want to continue live as the victim, or we want to walk the line and
Mm-hmm.
release this end and walk towards the empowerment, where we take action towards what we want in our life.
Right, right. Well, I know that as a mom, you have three children, and are all of them the same gender? Are they Boys, girls? Tell us about your kids.
Right. I have 3 kids. Yes.
Mhm.
Boy, girl, boy.
Okay.
21-year-old son, 16-year-old daughter, and 14-year-old son.
Wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful. Well,
And a dog.
and a dog. That's fabulous, fabulous. And as a mom, you model and share the things that you've learned on your journey. So, as a mom, how have you experienced moving through a scenario that has been maybe very disempowering for your kids and helping them move toward being more empowered in their life? Maybe particularly with your daughter, since we're talking about mothers and daughters.
Right. I think as a mom, my main focus has been from my own life journey and what I have learned growing up is to pay attention and be present and tune in, listen, and insisting on knowing what's going on in their life.
Right.
Yeah, because we all go through contrast, and sometimes in life it can seem like some more intense contrast shows up,
Right.
and we can talk more about that. So, but if to start more generally, like generalize it, I think when we go through contrast, I definitely think I can use the contrast I have been through to not escape from the conversations that are so important to go through the contrast instead of thinking we can run around it and then we are not learning from it. We are not in contrast. Our emotions will always change, and we talked about earlier, words are energy, our emotions are energy. And I know in my childhood it was hard for me for many, many, many years to connect with sadness and anger. And I felt for many years I was afraid of doing that. I thought it would disempower me.
Right.
But I've learned that it's the opposite. It's the opposite. When we really go through the contrast instead of trying to avoid it. And that's in conversations as well.
Right. Yeah,
and we connect with the emotions, we can release it. And it will set ourselves free. So that's definitely an intention I have as a mother with my children, the best I can. They are all 3 different individuals.
Right.
So they're very different, but to show them the best I can, that we can talk about anything, and they can come to me with anything, and by doing that, we are building a closer relationship to ourselves and to each other. So yeah, did I answer your question?
You did.
I get a little sidetracked.
Yeah. Oh, no. You answered the question beautifully. And I love that, because sometimes, and I can think of my own experience as a daughter growing up, the conversation was not about emotions. It was stop feeling that, or you don't feel that way if you're a nice girl or a good girl. It was avoiding those emotions, and not really having the conversation about it, or how to navigate through the contrast that is experienced or has been experienced. And I think that helps our children become so much more empowered when we do have those very honest conversations and openness to listening and acknowledging and accepting emotions, whatever they may be, to help move us through the small contrast in life and the really big contrast in life. And I know you've experienced just in the last several months some really huge contrast not just within your community, but within your own family. And if you'd like to share a little bit about that, you know, what that contrast has been, and how you've helped your daughter in particular, as well as all of your children, to move through, you know, the huge contrast that showed up for you and your community.
Right. Yeah. So we live in Coral Springs, Parkland, and my daughter goes to Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School, where we experienced that horrifying experience on February 14th, the shooting where 17 beautiful souls passed. And that was a shock. It was a shock and learning experience at so many levels. And I think, you know, we all experience it from different perspectives, which we always will. And I can see that in our community, how different people are moving through this sorrow, that shock and sorrow. For me, it has been important to talk as much as possible about it. And it's just it's clear to see who is ever prepared to experience something like that? No one. And we never know how we react. And I experienced right after it happened, for me, it was like I was able to navigate. I felt like minute to minute. I couldn't think further. I was just in such a shock in the beginning. And then after some days, it expanded to, okay, now I can think half an hour ahead. And suddenly I felt one day, okay, now I can start to plan a week at a time. And now I can start to look into my future. But also talk about that with the kids and make it okay. You know, we talked a lot about how different we all reacted to this. And it's okay. It's okay. And sometimes we feel, okay, now I'm over it. And you say, can I really be over it? And then the next day, a new article may show up, or we see something in our town. I mean, there's stickers everywhere. There's signs not every store, but many places are still supporting, collecting money into the victims and to build supporting networks where people can be helped. So we get reminders still all this. We will for a long time, hopefully, I think. But to still talk about it, to not run away. I definitely, as a mom, I'm aware of checking in regularly, you know, make sure that we don't escape from it because it feels unpleasant to face it. Yeah.
Well, I just hold you, your family, and your community in such love and healing light, because
thank you.
that trauma is so difficult for each person to experience. And what you talk about of having to go through that, to have those hard conversations with your children, with people in your community, you know, and I thank you for sharing in this interview some of your experience through this very difficult time that can be a very disempowering time for many people. And what I hear from you, as I hear that hope, that positivity, that despite this horrific scenario that occurred, that was a reality in your community, that there is a way to move through it and to provide healing through this experience.
I totally believe that. But of course, not everybody has the tools right now to know how to do it, but they will get them, you know, when they are ready. It's there. There are the tools to move through it. So it's a matter of being ready to receive it and be open and willing to do the work also. And we all mature, we all are ready at different times to do that, but it's, yeah.
One of the things I was going to ask you about is the tools and strategies that you've gained over time as a mother that has helped in your relationship, in particular with your daughter,
Yeah.
which she's 16, correct? Is that what
Yeah.
you said?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sweet
So what are some,
16. Yeah.
yes, indeed. Yeah. What are some tools and strategies that you've learned that you're now passing on to her?
Forgiveness. We talked about that. Not staying stuck with whatever she or he said the day before, and also talk about, okay, so sometimes, especially the young people today, they are a lot on social media and they mirror themselves in each other, but have those conversations where we talk about what we want, train our brain to keep thinking, so what do I want with my life? That's important, I think. It's so important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And dare to have conversations, dare to talk about everything, not fear. Be open to have conversations. Feel safe. I make a lot of effort of creating that safe environment to talk about whatever comes up.
Mm-hmm.
So I really think I do that with all of them, and it's different things, of course.
Right.
I'm grateful. I really feel I've created that safe space for them to come and talk, and I'm hoping they can take that with them when they leave the nest. Yeah.
Well, knowing you, Charlotte, I am sure that they will be taking those things with them, those qualities, because you've helped ground them in that's part of the culture of your family. That's part of the culture of how we relate to one another. And they can't help but, you model that. So they can't help but not take that with them into the world as they expand their wings and fly away from the nest.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I think another thing also, because as I said, I have 3 different kids, very different kids. And now we talk more about daughters here, but like, I have a son who is very creative and so out of the box in his way of thinking. And oh my gosh, he helps me to learn a lot about myself, about patience. Patience is a big word, right? To allow them to explore the world their way. And not every kid fits into the box that we want them to fit into this society. So I think actually as parents, we really become more empowered if we can learn the tools of the universe, I want to say, where we can learn to just allow them to grow as human beings and not be so afraid of them not particularly right now fit into the box of society, the train of school where you move from grade to grade and now you have to know this and this and this and do this and this and this. A lot of kids do fit into that, but some kids just don't. And I have one kid who doesn't, and learn as parents also to be patient and trust that things will work out for them. Because it will. I mean, there are many examples in the world of people who didn't fit in, and they become successful no matter what. But I think we give them the power to trust their inner guidance by giving them the space to feel okay being different.
Yes. Well, that's our greatest gift that we all share, is our own uniqueness. And
Yeah.
not everybody fits in a certain box. And it's,
Right.
you know, a lot of the things that I want to bring forth in our world is kind of peeling back some of those labels. That we don't have to have this label stuck on our forehead of mother or daughter or, you know, student, you know, a ninth grade student, how a ninth grade student is supposed to be, because every single one of them are unique and beautiful gifts in this world.
Yeah.
And if it means that you have to do something a little bit different,
Yeah.
do it. You know,
Yeah.
find that way, find that possibility, because that's the thing. There are all different types of possibilities. And that's what it sounds like you're creating in your family and with your children, to learn from one another too,
Yeah.
is that
Yeah.
each of them are unique and different, and it's not a one size fits all for everybody and
Yeah.
how things look in
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
And
And I just love, Beth, that you are having these conversations, because I think it's so important to open up for this conversation, because I truly think a lot of people are afraid of open up to these conversations because, oh my gosh, well, and I've been through that process myself. Okay, what will other people think about me? And what if I go outside the box with my child and not do exactly what society has planned? For us, I think it's very important to have these conversations. And I think it's very needed. It's needed, especially in this world we live in with such a high pace, constant change, and a lot of contrast right now. A lot of contrast.
all right. Well, Charlotte, you have shared so many amazing qualities that are so important in being a daughter of the universe, and in your role, very important role as a mother, and how you help not just your daughter, but your sons and your family to stay grounded in those important qualities of gratitude and kindness, and taking things as they come and moving through them, sometimes minute by minute.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, being able to do that future visioning. What would be your final thoughts that you would like to leave our viewers with today?
I think, really the importance of staying true to ourselves. Really, really take the time each day to listen to that inner voice. And I know for myself that for years I had totally disconnected from her.
Yes.
and but that it's there. So if we feel kind of stuck in life, we don't know what direction to take, the answer is there. And if we do, it's our job to connect with the answers. And as mothers, as daughters, as parents, I think it's our responsibility to do that. And I truly believe that the world would be so different if many more of us, if we keep doing that inner work and connect, because we will make the choices that will make us more fulfilled and happy, and coming from a more loving space than fearful and feeling any temptations to feel revenge, and that, because it would be a different perspective it will be a different perspective we will come from, or more powerful way of living when we connect with that inner voice, our intuition. Yeah.
Beautiful, thriving way to leave our audience today. So thank you so much, Charlotte. If people would like to get in touch with you or learn more and stay connected with you, with the expansion of your business and the ways that you're assisting people in your community and globally, how can they get in touch with you?
Right. They can do two things. I'm working on finishing my website, which will be charlottefriborg.com. And until that's up live, they can shoot me an email. I actually send out free emails where I give a lot of good golden nuggets, how to create that imperfect life mastery.
Right.
And so they can get on my list, but just shoot me an email. It's charlotte@charlottefriborg.com. And I would love to embrace them into my circle and share this information. It's, yeah, it's, yep.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you. And I will put that in the end notes at the end of this video that people can see the spelling of your last name also, to access you through email and eventually your website coming up. And I just so appreciate your time today, Charlotte, and all that you have shared of yourself, your wisdom, you being this beautiful goddess sister of mine and daughter of the universe, to be able to share about roles that we can play in life. And thank you for your time today.
Thank you so much, Beth. I would truly enjoy spending the time with you here. So I can't wait for us to do more work together.
Yes, I am looking forward to that as
you.
well.
Yeah,
I
I see you as my sister too. It's, yeah. I'm so grateful for the connection we have built.
Thank you. I'm so grateful for the connection we have built as well, Charlotte. And to all our viewers, thank you so much for taking time to be you, be true, and be well. And take good care. And I hope you've enjoyed this interview. And please feel free to share it with others. Take good care.